In this video, I will be talking about the top 10 greatest Nebraska Cornhuskers of all time. Nebraska is a storied program, totaling 5 national championships, kicking off their program in 1890 in the state of Nebraska. I myself have been to Memorial Stadium 3 times in my life, and let me tell you, the joy it brings to the state of Nebraska is something else. On those beautiful fall days, you never see a whole state shut down like Nebraska will. It seems as if, for one day, everyone can come together as one for a game and forget about their problems. The joy of Nebraska football is something that is almost unexplainable, and some of the players who have gotten to experience it can tell you there is truly no place like Nebraska. Some of those stick out from the rest, and they go on to achieve big things. These are the top 10 Nebraska football players of all time. Number 10, Dominic Raiola. Hailing from Honolulu, Hawaii, Dominic Raiola headed to Nebraska in 1997, redshirting his first year. He soon hit the ground running in 1998, where he would go on to become one of the best offensive linemen in program history, winning the Rimington Trophy in 2000 and having his number 54 retired at Nebraska. Raiola was drafted in 2001 and played 14 seasons with the Detroit Lions before retiring in 2014. Raiola's brother Donovan is the offensive line coach at Nebraska. Raiola's son Dylan was the number 1 ranked recruit in the class of 2024 and ended up committing to Nebraska. Hopefully, we may see another Raiola successful in Lincoln. Number 9, Will Shields. Graduating from Lawton High School in Lawton, Oklahoma in 1989, Will Shields went on to play 4 seasons at Nebraska. In his final year at Nebraska, he won the Outland Trophy and was a consensus All-American his senior year at Nebraska in 1992. Shields went on to play for the Kansas City Chiefs for 14 seasons. He ended up being a 12-time Pro Bowler, yes, 12-time Pro Bowler for the Kansas City Chiefs, and won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award in 2003. His son, Siobhan Shields, actually went on to play basketball for the Huskers from 2012 to 2016. He was inducted into the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame, and it had his number 75 retired at Nebraska. Will Shields proved to be one of the greatest to ever play college football, and his accomplishments certainly show that. Number 8, Scott Frost. A former head coach of the Huskers, Scott Frost played for Wood River High School in Wood River, Nebraska. He played football and even did shot put for the Eagles. He committed to Stanford after a phone call conversation with the likes of Bill Walsh got him to go there. He played 2 seasons for Stanford, after which he transferred to play for Nebraska after redshirting in 1995, in which they won a national championship. He was awarded the starting job in 1996, where he led the Huskers to an 11-2 season with an Orange Bowl victory against Virginia Tech. The next year in 1997, he did even better and led the Huskers to an undefeated season and won the national championship against a Peyton Manning-led Tennessee. He played for 6 years in the NFL, in which he actually played safety instead of quarterback. It's his success as a coach, however, that he has really been thrown into the spotlight. Before he was the head coach at Nebraska, he was the head coach at UCF, where he led UCF to an undefeated season in 2017, and they were crowned national champions unofficially, that is. But nevertheless, the AAC Conference Championship game, he accepted the coaching job at Nebraska over the phone. Yes, over the phone. And during halftime of a Nebraska basketball game, they brought him out and they started playing the song "I'm Coming Home" by Dirty Money, fitting for a guy from Nebraska who is definitely a Nebraska legend. Unfortunately, Scott Frost was fired after the Georgia Southern game in 2022. Unfortunately, things didn't really work out for Scott Frost, but his reputation, whether it was being a coach or a player, will always be remembered by Nebraska fans. And I'll leave it off with this play that showed Scott Frost will forever be a legend in Nebraska, where he threw a game-winning touchdown pass to Matt Davidson in the game against Missouri, which led them to the national championship game. Unfortunately, I can't play it here because this will get copyright stricken, so sorry. Number 7, Johnny Rodgers. A Nebraska legend and CFL standout, Johnny the Jet Rodgers was one of the best college football players in the 1970s, winning 2 national championships in 1970 against LSU and 1971 against Alabama. After coming out of Omaha Tech High School in 1970, he wanted to make a statement at Nebraska, and he sure did, winning the Walter Camp Award and the Heisman Trophy in his last year at Nebraska in 1972. He went on to play for the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL and actually won the Most Outstanding Rookie Award for the CFL. He then went on to play for the San Diego Chargers for 2 seasons and had his number 20 retired at Nebraska. Number 6, Mike Rozier. After graduating from Woodrow Wilson High School in Camden, New Jersey in 1980, Mike Rozier ended up playing football for Coffeyville Community College in Coffeyville, Kansas, after which he transferred to Nebraska, where he played 3 seasons at, and in his last year at Nebraska in 1983, he won the Heisman Trophy, Maxwell Award, and the Walter Camp Award. After Nebraska, he played for the Oilers and the Falcons and went on to the Pro Bowl in 1987 and 1988. I actually got a chance to meet Mike Rozier in 2014 at the Charlotte, North Carolina airport. He was a really nice guy to talk to and a stand-up personality. So, Mike, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Number 5, Dave Rimington. Hailing from Omaha, Nebraska, and graduating from Omaha South in 1979, he played for the Huskers for 4 seasons, the only lineman to ever win the Outland Trophy twice. In 1981 and 1982, he won it, and not only does he have that under his belt, he has an award named after him, the Remington Trophy, given to the best center in college football every year. He went on to play for the Bengals and the Eagles, after which he joined with the Boomer Esiason Foundation in 1993. He has been the president since 1995. And for a small bit, he served as the interim athletic director for a month at Nebraska in 2017. Overall, he had a great career at Nebraska, and it led off with his number retired at Nebraska. Number 4, Eric Crouch. Hailing from Omaha, Nebraska, Eric Crouch is someone that truly lives and breathes Nebraska football and was a quarterback sort of like a Michael Vick or a Lamar Jackson, which was something new to fans at Nebraska. After graduating from Millard North High School in Omaha, Nebraska, he redshirted that 1997 championship season, but in 1998 he wasn't the starting quarterback, Bobby Newcomb was. But when Newcomb went down with an injury, in steps Crouch. and he would keep that job for the rest of that season and the next 3 seasons. In 2001, he had his best season. Quick story for you guys. So on October 27th, 2001, number 1 Oklahoma traveled up to the Cornhusker State to play number 2 Nebraska. But 2 days earlier, on October 25th, my dad got a phone call from a friend saying, "Hey bro, I got an extra ticket to the game. Do you want in?" With zero hesitation, my dad said, "I'm booking a flight right now." My dad flew up, and on October 27th, the game was close, entering the 4th quarter, Nebraska winning 13-10. When the 3rd quarter ended, Oklahoma put 4s up as if to signal, "This is our quarter, and we're coming back." Eric Crouch wasn't paying them any mind. Nebraska needed that one play to pull away. This happened. I can't play this for copyright reasons, but basically they ran a reverse play, and a guy by the name of Mike Stunts threw it to Eric Crouch, and Eric Crouch ran it for a touchdown. So, yeah. After that, Nebraska went on to win the game. Now, back to Eric. Eric led his team to the national championship game against Miami, which led him to get the Heisman Trophy, Davey O'Brien Trophy, and the Walter Camp Award. They ended up losing to Miami 37-14. Eric then went on to be drafted by the St. Louis Rams, but didn't even play it down after they wanted him to play wide receiver. He clearly wasn't trying to do that, so he left and bounced around from the NFL, CFL, and USFL until ultimately hanging it up, and he was the running back and special teams coach for 1 season at Midland University, a small Lutheran college in Fremont, Nebraska. Overall, amazing Nebraska career, leaving off with his jersey, number 7, retired at Nebraska. Number 3, Ndamukong Suh. From Portland, Oregon, graduating from Grant High School, Ndamukong Suh committed to play for Nebraska and had a legendary 5-season career at Nebraska, earning the Bronco Nagurski Trophy, Chuck Bednarik Award, Lombardi Trophy, and the Outland Trophy, all in his last year at Nebraska in 2009, in which he also amassed 12 sacks. They went on that year to lose the Big 12 championship game against Texas on a dumb call that put a second back on the clock for Texas, and they went on to score a last-second field goal to put them to the national championship game against Alabama. Nebraska definitely should have been in that game, FYI. Just my opinion, though. Just my opinion. He ended up having a solid NFL career, playing 13 seasons with the Lions, Dolphins, Rams, Buccaneers, and Eagles. He actually won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers in 2020, and not to mention he was a 5-time Pro Bowler, ending off with his number 93 retired at Nebraska. Number 2, Lawrence Phillips. After graduating from Baldwin Park High School in Baldwin Park, California, Lawrence Phillips signed to play for Nebraska in 1993 and played 3 seasons at Nebraska. He ended up becoming a 2-time national champion in 1994 against Miami with Ray Lewis and Warren Sapp, and then in 1995 against Florida. Lawrence was a Heisman finalist in 1994, but came up short to Rashaan Salaam. Rashaan Salaam actually passed away in 2016, so rest in peace to Rashaan. In 1995, the Huskers traveled up to Michigan State, where Nick Saban, one of the best college football head coaches of all time, had just gotten a job at Michigan State. Lawrence had a field day against the Spartans, running for 206 yards and 4 touchdowns, which ultimately was the driving point to Nebraska's 50-10 win against the Spartans. However, after this game, Lawrence was suspended for reasons that I won't get into in this video, leading his supposed Heisman Trophy season to nowhere. But he did play in the national championship game against the Gators, winning that game 62-27. After Nebraska, things didn't go as planned. He was drafted by the St. Louis Rams, but off-the-field issues and addiction from being the running back we all saw in college. He got released and was picked up by the Dolphins, but was then released after another off-the-field issue. He was eventually sent to Barcelona to play in NFL Europe, where things started to look up for Lawrence. But after he was picked up by the 49ers, he wasn't all the same again. After that, he played for the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL and actually won the Grey Cup in 2002 with them. But after another off-the-field incident, he was released, and ultimately in 2008, he was sentenced to 31 years in prison, and on January 13, 2016, he was found dead in his prison cell. Rest in peace to Lawrence Phillips. Number 1, Tommy Frazier. Hailing from Bradenton, Florida, Tommy Frazier played high school football for Manatee High School in Bradenton and signed to play for the Huskers in 1992. Frazier led the Huskers to 2 national championships in 1994 and 1995, with adding a Heisman Trophy finalist to that undefeated 1995 season. A lot of people actually thought that Frazier should have won the Heisman and felt that he was snubbed by them giving it to Eddie George. Just my opinion. He was totally snubbed. Totally. After Nebraska, Tommy went undrafted, as during his time at Nebraska, he had to miss some games due to blood clots. This would be a contributing factor into his early retirement from football, after during his one season with the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL in 1996, he was hospitalized midway through the season and spent 2 weeks in the hospital, and after being released, he announced his retirement from football. After that, he did some coaching jobs, being an assistant for Baylor, and was a head coach at Doane College in Doane, Nebraska for 2 seasons, ending it off with his number 15, retired at Nebraska. So to wrap up this video, Nebraska is 100% a storied program. The true definition of a storied program, for sure. The amount of national championships they have, it truly shows that that's what they are. Nebraska is one of the best programs to play for in college football, and in recent years, Nebraska has struggled a lot, but I believe that you need to go through the rough times so you can appreciate the good times. With that, I'll leave you off with the great quote: "The odds are stacked against you. No matter what your previous history is, you have to overcome the tendency to relax." Tom Osborne. Appreciate you guys for watching. Have a great day.